OXYZ is a parallelogram. OY, that is O to Y, is A and O to Z is B. M is a point on OY such that the ratio of OM to MY is 1 to 3. N is a point on OZ such that the ratio of ON to NZ is 1 to 2. Work out the ratio xn to mn. We've got these values. So O to Y, the length of O to Y is A and O to Z is B. And the ratio for, so M is a point such that O to M and M to Y is in the ratio 1 to 3. So if I have this ratio, how can I express each individual parts as a fraction? So the first OM can be expressed as 1/4 and 3, this part of the ratio can be expressed as a fraction as 3/4, right? Because we have got like total 4 parts. The first part of the ratio is like 1/4 and the next is 3/4. Similarly, for ON to NZ, I can express it as in fractional form as 1/3 and 2/3. We have been given the measurement of O to Y. The total length is A. So if this part from O to M is 1/4, so it from the total length I can write it as 1/4 of A, 1/4 of the total length. And M to Y is 3/4 of A. Similarly, O to N is 1/3 of B because O to Z is B, total length is B. So 1/3, this is 1/3 of B. N to Z is 2/3 of B. Okay. Now we have to find out what is this ratio, X to N and to M to N. First, we will find out if there is a way we can go from all the way from X to N. So X to N, we can have, like we can go from X to M through X to O, O to N. We go X to O, O to N. Well, we don't have direct measurements to go from X to O. We have to take the other route. So we go from X to Y and Y to O. So to go from X to O, you have to go X to Y and Y to O and then O to N. So we have to actually go all this way. So what is X to Y? X to Y is same as O to Z because it's a parallelogram. So O to Z is B, so this will also be, so X to Y is B plus Y to O. Y to O is, O to Y is A, Y to O will be going in the other opposite direction, so that will be minus A. Plus O to N is 1/3 of B. So B plus 1/3 of B is 4/3 of B. And plus of minus A is minus A. I got Xn. Let me find out Mn as well. So M to N, you go all the way from M to O and O to N. So this is M to O, O to N. M to O is 1/4 of A, O to N is 1/3 of B. Now I will see if there is any connection between Xn to Mn so that I can write it in a ratio, in the form of a ratio easily. So if I can take the denominator here and try to make this expression in a form such that it has a common denominator. So the denominator here is 3, but the denominator for this A is actually 1. So I can make the common denominator 3. So the numerator here will be 4b minus 3a because I have to multiply this numerator and denominator by 3. So now I got the value of xn as 4b minus 3a over 3. I can do similar manipulation for mn as well. Now the denominator is 4 and a 3, so 4 3s is 12. The common denominator is 12. So to make this 12, I have to times this with 3 and I have to times this with 4. So the numerator here is 3a plus 4b. Oh, I did an error here. I'm sorry. This m to o actually is minus a here, right? Because I'm going the other way. I'm sorry about that. So this is minus 3a actually. So I can write this as 4b minus 3a over 12, right? Now to express xn to mn as a ratio, so xn is 4b minus 3a over 3 to mn is 4b minus 3a over 12. Now I have the numerator is same for these two ratios, so I can cancel this and now have 1/3 to 1/12. Now 1/3 to 1/12 can be written in a similar form like times 4 if I do. So I get the denominator 12 and the numerator is 4. Here is 1 over 12. So the denominators can be cancelled further. So to get the ratio for xn to mn as 4 to 1. Rationalize the denominator of 15 over root 5. Give your answer in its simplest form. So we have the there is a surd in the denominator. We need to get rid of it. So I can simply times the numerator and denominator with the same surd. So now I get 15 root 5 in the numerator and root 5 times root 5. So root 5 times root 5 is root 5 square. The square and the square root cancels out to make it just 5. So we have 5 in the denominator. So we can simplify this. So 5 goes in 15 3 times. 3 5 is 15. So we have got the final answer 3 root 5. Now there is this expression which has got these surds, and this needs to be expressed in the form of a minus b root 3 over c, where a, b and c are integers. So we see the denominator, we have actually got rid of the surd in the denominator to make it an integer. So we have to convert this entire thing into this form. Okay, so we need to get rid of the surd in the denominator here. To get rid of that, of the surd in the denominator, we have to find its conjugate. So the conjugate of 1 plus 2 root 3 is 1 minus 2 root 3. Now taking the conjugate, I rationalize this expression. So how do we rationalize it? We rewrite the original expression root 75 minus 2 over 1 plus 2 root 3 and times the numerator and denominator with its conjugate. So the conjugate is 1 minus 2 root 3 over 1 minus 2 root 3. So now this will be root 75 minus 2, this entire thing times 1 minus 2 root 3 over 1 plus 2 root 3 times 1 minus 2 root 3. Now we will have to simplify. We have to expand the terms in the numerator and denominator and try to simplify it as much as we can. So I'm going with the denominator first and I will try to simplify it as much as I can. So I'm writing the denominator here. Now denominator is of the form using the difference of square, where we have a square minus b square is a plus b times a minus b. So this is of the form a plus b times a minus b. So this factored form can be expressed as a square minus b square. So here a is 1, so that's 1 square minus b is 2 root 3. So 2 root 3 squared. So if I simplify this, 1 square is 1 minus 2 root 3 whole square. So the square is for 2 and the square is for root 3. So 2 squared is 4 times root 3 square is just 3. So this is 1 minus 4 times 3. We apply BODMAS here. We first multiply 4 threes is 12 and then take away. So 1 take away from 12. So 1 take away from 12 gives you negative 11. So this is your denominator. Let us try to simplify the numerator as well now. So I've got the denominator as negative 11. The numerator, I need to multiply out each terms here using the FOIL. So root 75 times 1 is root 75. Root 75 times negative 2 root 3 will be negative 2 root 3 times root 75. And then negative 2 times positive 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2 root 3 will be positive 4 root 3. Let me extend this part now. Now, how can we simplify this? We can do something to root 75. So if I take root 75 and see what we can do, you can express root 75 as 25 times 3, because 25 times 3 gives you 75. And you can split this and write it separately as root 25 times root 3. Root 25 is 5 square. 5 times 5 is the square root of 25 is 5, because 5 times 5 is 25. The square root of 25 is just 5, and there is this root 3. So root 75 is equivalent to saying 5 root 3. So I can replace root 75 by 5 root 3. And then we have 2 root 3. Again, root 75 can be written as times 5 root 3. There is minus 2 plus 4 root 3. And this entire thing divided by negative 11. Now we see there are a lot of terms which have like common things. So let me begin with this term here. Okay, the first term is 5 root 3. The second term can be simplified further. So we've got 2 root 3 times 5 root 3 here, which is, you can multiply the numbers. 2 times 5 is 10, and then root 3 times root 3 is root 3 square, which is just 3. So this is 10 times 3, that is 30. So this number I have reduced to 30, but there is a minus sign here, so this is minus 30, and there is a 2 here, and this is plus 4 root 3 over negative 11. 5 root 3 and 4 root 3 can be taken as like terms, because they have got the same surd. So 5 plus 4 is 9. I can add them. This is 9 root 3. And 30, negative 30, negative 2 is negative 32 over negative 11. We have almost arrived at the answer, but to write it in a better way, I can get rid of the negative number in the denominator. You can write this, it's not wrong, but I would like to remove the negative number in the denominator, negative sign in the denominator. So for that, I multiply the numerator and denominator with negative 1. So I do minus 1 times minus 1. So the final answer will be, if I multiply the numerator with negative 1, I get negative 9 root 3, and negative times negative 32 is negative 1 times negative 32 is positive 32. So the answer, I can write it as positive 32 minus 9 root 3 over 11. So this is the final answer. A, B, and C are points on circle with center O. CD is the tangent to the circle. Angle BCD is 40 degrees. So this angle is 40 degrees. Angle OAB is 3 times angle OAC. Angle OAB is 3 times OAC. So if angle OAC is x, this will be 3x. Work out the size of angle ACD. ACD. So you have to find what is this angle, this total angle. So let me start with this now. So with the information we have got here in the question and using any of the circle theorems, what can we actually do here? Well, I see there is a tangent here, there is a chord, there is angle here. So using the alternate segment theorem, I can say this angle, that is angle BCD, which is 40 degrees, is exactly same as the angle subtended by this chord inside the circle. So it will be equal to angle, the sum of these 3x and 4x. So we can say 3x plus x is 40 degrees according to the alternate segment theorem. So 3x plus x is 4x is 40. Then x is 40 over 4, that is 10 degrees. So I got the value of x, which is 10 degrees. So 3x will be 30 degrees. So now what we can do further? We see OA and OB are radius of the circle. That makes these two side lengths same. In the triangle OAB, if these two are same, that makes it an isosceles triangle. So these two angles will be 30 each. If this is 30, this will also be 30. Now what is the remaining angle in this triangle? So if these two are 30 and 30 each, which makes it 60. So take away from 180 because the total angle in a triangle is 180 degrees. So 180 take away 60 gives you 120 degrees. This is 120. Well, I can connect O to C to make a radius again. So let me draw it using a proper line. So if I connect O to C, let me draw it properly. So O to C, if I draw, and O to A and O to C are again radius. So these two are of equal length. So that makes OAC as an isosceles triangle with these two angle values exactly same. So this is 10, this is also 10. That will make the remaining angle. So 10 plus 10 is 20. So 180 take away 20 degrees makes it 160 degrees. This is 160. So if this is 160, this part of the angle is 120. What is this angle? Because the total will be 360. Right? So this is 160 plus 120 makes it 280. So 360 take away 280 you will have 80 degrees as the remaining angle. This part of the angle is 80 degrees now. Now we see the triangle OCB is again isosceles because they have got these two lengths exactly same. They form the radius of the circle. So that makes these two exactly same angles. So if this is 80, the remaining angle, that is the sum of these two angles, should be 100 degrees to make a total of 180. So if this is 100, both of them is added to 100, then each one will be 50 degrees. We have got all this angle now. So the angle ACD is 10 plus, this part of the angle is 10, this is 50, this is 40. We have to find ACD, which is 10 plus 50 plus 40. 90 plus 10 is 100 degrees. f of x is 5x minus 3 over 4. Find f inverse x. So if this is a function, if I represent it using like a function machine, I can see what's the input and the output. How do we get all the way from input to the output? So if I'm assuming the original function, if I take x as the input, then the next thing I have to do is I need to times it with 5 to make 5x. So I times 5 to get 5x, and then I take away 3 from it to make it 5x minus 3, and then I divide it with 4 to make to get the final output 5x minus 3 over 4. So now we have to find the inverse of this entire process. So to get inverse, I have to go from the other direction where I assume this is the input x. So I'm assuming, so if I'm going from the other way and taking x as the input here and going all the way to the other direction, so I actually now every operation here needs to be reversed. So the first operation here is dividing by 4. Instead, you have to times it with 4 to make this 4x. Moving forward, there is negative 3. You subtract 3 from the original for the original function. So you add 3 to your reverse function here. So this will make it now 4x plus 3. Now this next operation will be times 5, so divide with 5 now. So you have to do 4x plus 3 divided by 5. This is your output now. So if x is input in this from the other way, you get 4x plus 3 over 5 as the output. So that is your reverse function or the inverse function, 4x plus 3 over 5. For all values of x, g of x, the function g of x is x minus 1 squared and h of x is 1 minus 2x. Work out the value of g h of 5. Now this is a composite function. What does this mean? G h of 5 is actually equivalent to saying g of h of 5. Now this tells that the input of the function g is output of the function h. Or in other words, I have to start from the innermost function, which is h of 5. So the output of the function h, if you input 5 in it, whatever output you get here for the function h will be taken as an input to the function g, and then you process it to get the final output for g of h of 5. So we need to begin with the innermost function, which is h of 5 here. So if for the function h of x, if input is 5, what is the output? So you replace x with 5 here. So 1 minus 2 times 5. So you apply BODMAS here, we multiply first. So 5 times 2 is 10. So 1 take away from 10, which gives you negative 9. So the output for h of 5 is negative 9. Now this output should be taken as an input to the function g. So g will have an input of negative 9 now. So replace x for the function g with negative 9. This will be negative 9 minus 1 whole raised to 2. So minus 9 minus 1 makes it minus 10 power 2. This is as good as saying minus 10 times minus 10. So minus 10 times minus 10 is positive 100. In the semi-finals of a chess tournament, player A will play player B, player C will play player D. The two winners will then play each other in the final. The probability that player A will win against player B is 0.6. The probability that A will win against C is 0.5. The probability that A will win against D is 0.3. The probability that C will win against D is 0.2. Work out the probability that player A will win the chess tournament. For A to win the entire tournament, it has to win actually 3 games. So let's try to understand the anatomy of this game. So player A will play player B. So we have actually got 3 games. Game 1, let me write it here. Game 1, Game 2, and Game 3. So Game 1 is played by A and B. So A will play with B. And to make A as the winner, so A is winning against B. So A wins. So A will win against B, the probability is 0.6. So this probability is 0.6. Now game 2 is played by players C and D. So player C will play player D. Now there are 2 options here. Either C can win the game, or C playing with D can win the game. The probability that C will win against D is 0.2. So the probability of C winning the game 2 is 0.2. And the probability of D winning the game is not given, but we can calculate that. So if this is 0.2, this has to be 0.8 to make the total as 1. Now the third game, so again we can have 2 different options here. So if we assume C has won game 2, so player A will play with C and A will win the game, or A will play with player D if D has won game 2 and A will win the game. So these are the options we have got. So what is the probability of A winning C for game 3? It is 0.5. So this probability is 0.5. And the probability that A will win against player D is 0.3. So A is winning against D is 0.3. So these are all the information we have got from the question. Now we have to find the probability that A will win the final tournament. So A is the final winner. For A to be the final winner, what do we need to do? So we have to consider all these things we have taken here. So for A to be the final winner, it has to win game A, and it has to make either C lose the game or D lose the game, right? So starting from A being a winner in game 1, the probability is 0.6. So the first option here is, let me not write this one here, it's just, so A winning first game and then C winning game 2, the probability is 0.2. And then A is losing, so A is winning the game against C, the probability is 0.5. The other option here is A winning the first game and D winning the second game, and A is winning the third game. The final winner is A here again, right? So we've got all these probabilities. So we find this product and then we add them together. So 0.6 times 0.2 is 0.12 times 0.5 will be 0.06. So you have to do like times all these numbers. And 0.6 times 0.8 is 0.48. So 0.48 times 0.3 will be 3 8s is 24, 3 4s is 12, 14, 144, 0.144. So 0.144. And then we have to add them all together. So if I put 0 here so that I calculate accurately, 0 plus 4 is 4, 6 plus 4 is 10, 2, and there is 0. So the final probability of A winning the game is 0.204. C is the circle with equation x square plus y square is 4. Find an equation of the tangent to C at the point P, 1 where P is greater than 0. Give your answer in the form y plus root ax is b, where a and b are integers. You must show all your working. So let me draw a circle here. Okay, so now the equation of the circle is given to us. Sorry. The equation of the circle is given where I can see the center of the circle is at 0, 0. So if the center is 0, 0, and if I draw a radius somewhere here maybe, or slightly here. Let me draw it properly. So, okay, if this is considered as a radius, the length is 2 here, and this is the point of contact of the radius with the tangent. There is a tangent passing through the point P, 1 where P is greater than 0. So if I draw a tangent here which touches the circle at the point P, at the point C, this is not P, this is C, and this has the coordinates, x coordinate is p and the y coordinate is 1. So we have got this information. Now what can we do with this point? Well, this point is passing through the circle, so I can substitute, or I can put these points on the equation of a circle to find the value of p. So we have got the equation of a circle is x square plus y square is 4. So if C is on circle, then the x coordinate is p, so that makes it p square plus 1 square is 4. Then p square plus 1 square is just 1 is 4. P square is 4, take away 1 makes it 3. So the value of p is plus or minus root 3. Since it says that p is greater than 0, I take the value of p is just positive root 3. So I've got this coordinate as root 3, 1. Now we have these two coordinates for a line. So if I assume radius as a line, I've got one of the coordinates is 0, 0 and the other one is root 3, 1. So can I find the slope or the gradient of this radius? So I can find, I will write it here, the slope or the gradient of the radius by using the formula the rise over run. So the difference of the y coordinates, which is 0 minus 1, over the difference in x coordinates, which is 0 minus root 3. So that is equal to 0 take away 1 is minus 1, 0 take away root 3 is negative root 3. So I can get rid of the negative sign, so I get 1 over root 3 as the gradient of the radius. The tangent to this circle is always perpendicular to the radius. We have this tangent is perpendicular. This is the symbol I use to represent perpendicular. Instead of writing the whole word as perpendicular, I can use this symbol. So tangent is perpendicular to radius. So the slope of the tangent will be a negative reciprocal of this. So the negative reciprocal of 1 over root 3 will be negative root 3 over 1, or just negative root 3. Now to find the equation of the tangent, it wants you to actually find the equation of the tangent which is passing through this point P1. So to find the equation of a tangent, equation of tangent is of the form y is mx plus c, where m is the slope of the tangent. So I substitute that value here. So y is m is negative root 3 x plus c, and c is the y-intercept. We don't know what is that. We need to figure it out. So tangent is passing through the point root 3 comma 1. So I make use of that point. So it passes, tangent passes through root 3 comma 1. So if I put this point on this equation, if I replace x and y values with these x and y coordinates for the point, I can get the value of c. So y here is 1. 1 is the negative root 3 times x is again root 3 plus c. So root 3 times root 3 is root 3 square, which makes it just 3. So this is negative 3 and 1 plus c. So the value of c is 1 plus 3, that is 4. Now I have the value of c, that is the y intercept. I have got the tangent. So the equation of the tangent, I have got the gradient of the tangent is given here and the y-intercept is given. So the equation of the tangent will be y equals mx plus c, where m is negative root 3x plus c is 4. So this is the final equation.